the decision to impose the sunset clause was not a cabinet decision last year. Yes. Well, the regulations. The regulations were both in August and September, and indeed recently, of course, were decisions by the Executive Council. So they're definitely the formal decisions of government, but it was not the sunset clause was not something that wasn't a decision of the cabinet, of the Abbott cabinet. I ensured that the extension of the ban that was made by my government was a decision of the cabinet.
There's no way that Tony Abbott wouldn't have known about that back then.
I was asked questions about this yesterday, and I've got nothing further to add to them. I think I was very clear.
Do you hope that the states maintain the ban on the Adler? What are you hoping that the states will come to a decision on then?
Well, as I said, in 1996, shotguns, including lever-action shotguns, let's say in 1996, lever-action shotguns were included in what is known as Category A. Now, let's be very clear about this. Gun licences are not easy to get in Australia. We have the strictest gun legislation there's no comparable country I can think of that has stricter gun legislation. It's one of John Howard's great achievements. The classification and the regulation of firearms in New South Wales is a matter for the New South Wales government and New South Wales Parliament. So all of these gun laws are state laws. Federal government controls importation. So the lever-action shotguns were in Category A. Last year, the police became aware that a large number of lever-action guns, the Adler guns, so-called, were going to be imported, and the federal government took decisive action and in August imposed an import ban, which was expressed to be a temporary ban until the state and territory police ministers, and of course a part of that council is the federal minister, agreed on a reclassification. And I don't think there's ever been any question that the classification for these guns should be increased. So they should move from A into higher categories, into more restricted categories. That agreement has not yet been reached, and until it is, the ban which I renewed, my government renewed, my cabinet renewed, will stay in place. That's the fact.
Premier, on the AGM, how confident or hopeful
you quickly touch on the compromise you and the Premier reached regarding more grassroots input into pre-selection for the state?
Okay, well, I'll speak to this, and then Mike, they've been letting you off lightly. Mike, haven't had a question yet. You don't mind. Okay,
I should do more of these with you.
We should work together more. Okay, look, Mike and I are absolutely committed to our great grassroots political movement, the Liberal Party, having many more members. We wanted to have many more members. We want members to be more engaged. We want to be able to reach out so that the party can have the levels of membership it did a generation ago. When I first joined the Liberal Party, it had 6 or 7 times more members in this state and around the country than it does today. Now, the truth is that my generation and my children's generation are not joiners of organisations in the same way as our parents were. That's true, and that goes across the board. But we are a great grassroots political movement. We still are. We want the Liberal Party to be greater. And so Mike and I have that. We have that ambition to have members having more say in every respect.
Yeah. And does that mean politicise for pre-selection?
Look, it does. I mean, I think the important point is that our party has a great opportunity, but it's a matter for our party. And tomorrow we'll be engaging directly with our membership, who both of us are incredibly appreciative of for the work they do.
We wouldn't be here without them.
Absolutely right. But and importantly, what we have said consistently is we strongly believe that every member should have more opportunities to have a vote in relation to pre-selection. So one member, one vote is a principle we both absolutely agree with. There's a chance to reform the party, and that's what we're going to discuss with our membership. And Certainly that is something that we're both excited about. We believe in the party, its history, but there's a great future, and we're going to do that collectively with our membership. And I'll just put one question, one comment just to finish off on the guns issue. Clearly the New South Wales government supports the ban remaining in place. My encouragement in all of this debate is for federal Labor to have a discussion with their state Labor colleagues who are in the midst, as I understand, of negotiating a preference deal for a by-election with the Shooters and Fishers Party. Now, that is quite an incredible development for this state Labor Party, but I'll put nothing past them on that. They're happy to do anything to gain some form of political opportunity. Forget about what they believe in. And I think that's something that we should be focusing very clearly on, because their federal Labor colleagues seem to have a different view to what is going on right here in this state. So thanks, everyone.
Just a quick question. A staff member of one of your MPs has been accused of switching his gender identity to win a student election. Is this appropriate behaviour from one of your staffers, and how do you think LGBTI people feel about this?
Look, I mean, I've seen those reports today. I don't know the details. For those that have been observing student politics for generations, I mean, all types of activities have gone up to, many of which are inappropriate. And if it is the case, clearly this is inappropriate.
Well, thanks
everyone.
Can I just say, Mike, just one thing to wrap up. The important thing in terms of the party reform issue is that we are absolutely on the same page. Each of us have advocated members having a direct say in pre-selections for a long time. But we want, when we've talked about reform of the party. The party needs reform because it's a modern organisation, and every organisation constantly needs to be modernising and renewing itself. So this is not a criticism of the party. It's a great grassroots political movement. Its members do remarkable work, and we want to honour them, support them, and encourage others to join their ranks by giving them a greater say. We want this great grassroots political movement, which we are privileged to lead in New South Wales and federally, we want it to be greater still. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is the Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, appearing alongside the Premier of New South Wales, Mike Baird, certainly spending a bit of time there talking about the Adler shotgun, and the Prime Minister saying that Cabinet has been committed to extending that ban on importing lever-action shotguns, specifically the Adler shotgun.